Top 10 Most Developed Countries in Africa 2021. Hello Displorers, welcome to another informative video presented to you by Displorer. In this video, we shall count down the top 10 most developed countries in Africa in 2021. A developed country is defined as a sovereign state that, compared to other nations, has a developed economy and technologically advanced infrastructure. Every year, the United Nations Development Programme releases a report that outlines indices and indicators of human development. The report gives an overview of the state of development worldwide and identifies improvements in nations, including those that are developing or developed. To determine if a country is developed, the United Nations Development Programme uses the Human Development Index, HDI. HDI is quantified by looking at the country's human development, such as healthcare, education, and life expectancy. HDI is set on a scale that ranges from 0 to 1, with 4 different classifications, which are low human development, between 0 to 0.55, medium human development, between 0.55 to 0.70, high human development, between 0.70 to 0.80, and very high human development, between 0.80 to 1.0. Most developed countries have a score of at least 0.80 and are considered very high human development. Of Africa's 54 countries, only one is considered to have very high human development. Stay to the end of this video to discover which country that is. If you are new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. Without much ado, here are the top 10 most developed countries in Africa in 2021. Number 10. Morocco, HDI 0.676. The beautiful Northern African nation, Morocco, is not only one of the best investment prices in Africa, but with a solid and versatile economy, it is also one of the most developed countries in Africa. Morocco has seen unexpected growth in various industries over the past years, and is currently focusing on enhancing its high value-added industries, and this has brought about a strong recovery on the European market. With a human development of 0.676 and a gross national per capita income above $7,000, the main challenge which remains for the country is boosting the private sector to encourage job creation for the younger generation, as it has experienced some internal problems which affected its development. Number 9. Egypt, HDI 0.7. Egypt has been considered the cradle of civilization, host of one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, and with an advanced infrastructural system that keeps on giving numerous modern projects, and most developed African country can also be added to the list. For the last decade, Egypt has been constantly improving its economic activities, with amendments and reforms adopted, which seems to bear their fruit. The country has seen their GDP grow by 5.3%, export of goods and services, improvement in foreign exchange reserves, and a more dynamic tourism sector have greatly contributed to massive development in Egypt. Even though it is a high development nation with a human development index of 0.7, the country continues to battle a weak healthcare system and unemployment. Number 8. Gabon, HDI 0.702. Experiencing remarkable improvement within the last decade, Gabon is the 5th largest oil producer in Africa and boasts of one of the highest urbanization rates on the African continent. Also, upper middle income has experienced healthy development over the past decade, which was mainly driven by its production of oil and manganese. The oil sector accounts for 45% of the country's GDP and 60% of fiscal revenue on average over the past years. As the country's oil reserves face a decline, Gabon is looking for other areas of expansion, which is why investment in the private sector is encouraged to break free of their reliance on the oil sector. With a gross national income per capita of over $16,000 and a human development index of 0.702, Gabon is one of the most developed African nations. Number 7. South Africa, HDI 0.705. South Africa has the second largest economy in Africa, with a highly developed economy and advanced economic infrastructure, which has placed it as a major player on the African continent. Being one of the world's largest producers and exporters of gold and platinum, the country has remarkably developed in its financial, legal, energy and transport sectors. The major setback South Africa has is the fact that it has one of the highest inequality rates in the world, which has been slowing down the country's development. But with a gross national income per capita of almost $12,000 and an HDI of 0.705, there is still ample room for improvement. Number 6. Libya, HDI 0.708. Libya has been one of the biggest players in oil exports, but over the past years, cumulative inflation has pushed a good number of Libyan households in poverty, as many lost almost 80% of their purchasing power. Despite the highly unstable political arena, the country still stands as one of the most developed countries in Africa, with an HDI of 0.708. Imagine what improved political arrangements will do for the country. With a more stable and improved political system, development will improve rapidly over a short period of time, which will in turn possibly slow down inflation. Number 5. Botswana, HDI 0.728. When Botswana gained its independence in 1966, it was one of the poorest countries in the world, but it has quickly become an example of development success on the African continent, averaging 5% growth per annum over the past decade. The mining-driven economy has experienced rapid growth in the construction and the service sectors as well. It has also seen massive growth in its GDP, which has led to a gross national income per capita of over $15,500, hence an HDI of 0.728. If the country combats the poverty and the unemployment levels experienced in it, it might just be able to skip to a very high human development bracket sooner than later. Number 4. Tunisia, HDI 0.739. Despite having a very turbulent history, Tunisia has gradually evolved into a nation with a developing and stable economy. The country is recovering from years of conflict and gaining good momentum in human and socio-economic development. With an economy mainly driven by tourism, agriculture, electrical and mechanical exports, it has been able to achieve a gross national income per capita of above $10,200. However, poverty remains a significant threat to the country's progress, as millions of people remain affected by the many years of conflict, which caused major roadblocks for the North African country's ambitions, where some regions show up to 30.8% of the population living in calamitous conditions. Number 3. Algeria, HDI 0.759. Algeria is a major player in the MENA region and is on record to have achieved the remarkable feat of reducing poverty in the country by 20% within the last 2 decades. Algeria boasts of a viable economy, and the largely positive economic performance of the country has improved development and greatly contributed to socio-economic stability. The oil-rich country has a GDP per capita of over $13,800, an HDI score of 0.759, and is the third most developed country in Africa. Algeria also currently has the highest life expectancy of all African countries of 76.3 years. However, depression in oil prices has brought a decline in the country's currency reserves, as the country is highly dependent on crude oil exportation. Number 2. Mauritius, HDI 0.796. After gaining its independence in 1968, Mauritius has managed to greatly improve and stabilize its economy, with a GDP per capita of over $20,100. With its 1.3 million multicultural inhabitants, the country is considered as one of the most promising countries in Africa. Mauritius ranks as one of the most developed countries in Africa due to its high level of education, good health system, and a high standard of living. The Mauritian nation is extremely passionate about protecting the environment, hence taking action to protect and manage the environment. Therefore, Mauritius is driving incredible projects regarding the environment, and their passion to protect the island is paying off as it has greatly contributed to their level of ranking. However, one of the critical challenges the nation is facing remains reducing income-based inequality, which critics claim has been on the rise despite the considerable development and economic progress the country has experienced in recent times. Number 1. Seychelles, HDI 0.801. Now move over, because we have a heavyweight developed country in Africa. Seychelles is Africa's most developed country with an HDI of 0.801, just making the very high human development threshold. Seychelles is ranked 62 in HDI rankings and has a life expectancy of 73.7 years. The country's economic growth is mainly driven by tourism, and the GDP has increased nearly sevenfold since 1976, gradually moving the country's position towards upper middle income. With a GDP per capita of over $26,000, which is also the highest in Africa, the country has just a few setbacks. However, experts claim that this country needs to reduce its dependency on tourism and explore other business and investment opportunities, and the government has been working relentlessly in attracting investment in other business sectors in order to curb its stakes. There you have it, explorers. Those were the top 10 most developed countries in Africa in 2021. And statistics over the years have shown that despite the progress that Africa has been making in terms of life expectancy and the economy, many countries still face issues such as poverty, inequality, and conflict. If and when these issues are targeted, most Africans will be able to make that leap from low and mediumly developed countries into highly developed countries. Thanks for watching this video, and if you did enjoy this video, do also give it a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe and share with your friends.